everybody, welcome to OSIL video 465. I'm Nate Moore. This is a slide from last week's presentation. One of the things we talked about was a program called SQL Server Reporting Services. It comes free with almost every version of SQL Server that hosts most of the data out there in the medical practice world. And what SQL Server Reporting Services can do is send you scheduled emails like all of the problems with upcoming appointments come every day at 7 in the morning so you can see them and fix them before the patients come. If that kind of thing would be helpful and interesting to your practice, I'd love to help you. What I want to do today, let's bounce back to Excel, is talk about some of the fundamentals a bit about how to get data into a chart. I want to talk specifically about how do I add data to a chart and give you a couple examples on how to do that today. The first thing is when I'm building a chart, what I try to do is set it up something like this. I'm going to put my chart title on here so that I can put a formula and use that chart title. And I'm going to organize my data so that it's pretty straightforward. It's all together. It's pretty obvious what I'm doing. And it makes it easy for me when I want to add things like December 2015 data. I can see an obvious place to put it. And it just makes my chart easier to come back and maintain. If I have to come back to this thing 3 months later, 6 months later, I don't have to re-educate myself and remember what on earth I was doing. So with this kind of a basic setup where all my data is together and I've got things more or less formatted the way I want them to appear in my chart, the easiest way to create a chart is to grab the data. And once I've got the data, I can go to the Insert menu. Let's do a line chart given the data that we have. And I can do something like this. And because my data is organized, it's easy for me to write a formula here for the chart title. It just says 2015 financial activity, for example. And that way, if I wanted to change it because I added more data, I could do, well, we've got to hit that, 2016, let's say maybe. And my chart title can change for me easily because it's set to a formula. I don't have to come back and edit the chart title as I go forward. The other thing that I wanted to show you once you've got your data set up is some ideas about how to add data to the chart. When I grabbed this initially and charted it, Excel did just fine. And I've got January out to November, and that works. If I wanted to add this data here, there's a couple of ways to do it. One way to do it is if I click inside, I'm sorry, not inside the data, but inside the chart. If I click inside the chart, the data lights up, and Excel shows me, okay, the purple, that's what's here on your x-axis, and see this red here, that's your legend, and this data in between. What you could do is you could do something like this and drag this to include the data. Fortunately, these things are set up as dates, so I don't have some screwy lines in here. But the easier thing to do, and the thing I would generally do, you could type this if you just had the data. I'm going to cut and paste in the interest of time. But to add data to the bottom, and then if you come back and I want to increase the size of the chart, I click inside the chart, you can see what my data looks like, and I'm just going to hover, and that is diagonal. I'm just going to grab that. Now I have December. So what I did was I clicked inside the chart, this lit up, and that's one way to add data to a chart. Another way, if you know you're going to be doing this, hey, this is a monthly chart, and I'm going to be doing it and doing it and doing it, and I don't want to have to click inside the chart. Whoops. Click inside. Now, that really wants to show me this. Thank you. And drag to get January, drag to get February, that kind of thing. Another approach, rather than do it this way, is to come over here, and if I have the very same data, what I can do is from the Home tab, I can build a table. And let's just do something like that, call it good. And let's chart it then, and then we'll build it. Notice that a table is a discrete unit. I'm not going to select everything here. I'm just going to come over here and do Insert, the chart, and I have it. Excel, because it's a table, it gets really excited about, hey, you've got to have a title in every column because it uses these titles to organize its structure. I'm just going to make this say month. That doesn't bother me. But notice when I've got data now, if I wanted to type this in, wait, let me type just to start with, I'll cut and paste the rest. 12-1, and for those of you looking for an easy shortcut, 12-1 will automatically assume that you're in the current year. The current year is 2015, so it will do that for me. And then let's take this and let's cut this and paste it there. Notice as I do a table, I didn't have to do the select and drag thing. Excel saw data in the next row down in that table. It made it easy for me to add data. So if I came over here and went 1/1/2016, I got to type 2016 now because it's the next year. I can't use my last shortcut. Then here I've got data here, and if I did 4.2 million, the chart automatically starts to extend. It's a great way to organize data with tables because you get sorting and filtering and some other options. It's also a great background or structure to use for charts. The other thing I like about Excel 2013 is in the old days, let's come back over here. If I wanted to just show charges and payments, come here, I would have to do this to just show charges and payments. Let me undo that. In Excel 2013, it's a whole lot easier. I can do this and uncheck adjustments, apply, and move on. And it's easy to select all the data you may ever need in your chart. And then once I've got the chart, to use this filter button to adjust what shows up in my chart. Several ideas about creating data from a chart. That's where I want to start. In the next Excel video, what we're going to do is come over. Let's go inside the chart again. We're going to play a bit with this Select Data Source menu. We'll do that in the next Excel video. Thanks for watching.